On tonight's edition of Price is Right Wrestling, toxic attraction are all over the place and soon to be all over your face. Joe Wayne Gacy talks about seeing too much toxic behavior in wrestling. He wants to create a safe space here in NXT where everyone's a winner, just like MIA said in her song Paper Planes. And also, Indy Hartwell, fresh and tired off of her long, exhausting honeymoon with Dexter Lumis where they went through 2 boxes of you-know-what, as she was telling her best friend she should have been easy pickings for the Grudge Ghost and Boa, but then they got high, but then they got high, but then they got high. And also, we got to see the debut of an Italian Chicago mobster taking out an African-American man in Orlando, news at 11. And also, Imperium made their triumphant return to implement the final phase of their plan to take back the NXT Tag Team Championships. And most importantly, Io in shorts, Io Shirai in shorts. This is not a drill. I don't have a drill for a visual gag. Ha! Gag. I'm John Retton with my review of WWE NXT 2.0. So yeah, the kaleidoscopic, throw-up set still bothers me. I can't fucking stand it. It's just weird. I mean, I like that the crowd gets a little bit more into it, and it's a little better lit AF, I believe, as the kids say. My God, I sound so fucking white, but it's too fucking colorful. It hurts my goddamn eyes. It hurts my soul, man. Also, I will say there were some things I enjoyed on this show, but I gotta be honest, this revamp, I'm not really feeling this revamp. That being said, there are a few things I am going to talk about where, hey, maybe these vignettes were a good idea. Even though I don't think they're going to work out for one particular person, let's just jump into it with Ember Moon versus Mandy Rose with JC Jane and Gigi Dolan. And my fucking goodness, JC Jane, holy fucking shit, she has a really good look. Mandy, dressed like, some kind of knockoff Laura Croft, but the look works for her. And Gigi, of course, is implementing her deflowering techniques, trying to distract everybody. Ember attacks early. She does dive on JC. Moving on. And she does apron bomb Mandy. Like, pretty stiffly, by the way. I mean, I'm assuming it was safe because Mandy was fine afterwards, but I was like, ooh, boy, that was a little bit stiff. But Mandy's right back up soon after, and she ends up scissoring Ember from behind. Have fun unseeing that, or have fun seeing that. I'm not here to judge much. There was a distraction, of course, and then a pump knee strike, 1, 2, 3. Mandy gets a victory. Ember's all upset. Ember's Law is going about as well as... Well, no, Newton's Law actually works. Ember's Law is just not being enforced all that well. Mandy Rose getting the victory. Toxic Attraction, they're being featured pretty properly, despite the fact they probably should have won the Tag Team Championships when they took on Io Shirai and the oldest-looking 27-year-old wrestler in existence known as Zoe Stark. She looks 57. That's mean. I'm 40. Probably shouldn't judge anybody, but whatever. I don't fucking care. Let's just move on to a Legoland Phantasm pre-tape about Hit Row. And at least they're called up to SmackDown. Hit Row, that is. So that means I can just tune out of their goddamn segments, but more on that a little bit later. Basically, Escobar wants the goddamn, North American Championship, which this is a bad idea that they haven't, had Swerve really defend it all that much. That's not Swerve's fault. That's Creative's fault. And obviously, Escobar is going to beat him for the North American Championship because we need more titles spread across all these brands so the titles are fucking meaningless. There are about 4 or 5 titles they could fucking drop and nobody would miss them. And I hate to say it, but the North American the Cruiserweight Championship actually would probably be the one they should drop. Moving on from that, Odyssey Jones, who really does have a lot of charisma and a lot of ability, taking on LA Knight. Yeah! And LA, he bounced around like fucking crazy, like a goddamn Super Bowl. And then he took over, grinding down on Odyssey Jones, grinding down on the tougher individual, just beating him down, choking him on the ropes and everything. And Knight was doing some good stuff here. Jones did eventually make his comeback. Later, Andre Chase shows up. He does a distraction, just enough for LA Knight to hit a reverse neckbreaker. And then Odyssey Jones has his foot under the rope and Chase pushes it. He must have had the power of Thor to push a leg that goddamn thick. It's thick as fuck, as you know. Man, I sound really goddamn white saying this. And... obviously, they're going with Odyssey Jones versus Andre Chase, who basically is trying to be Dean Douglas mixed with Christopher Nowitzki without really any of the charisma. At least I haven't seen that much charisma. Maybe I'll see a little bit more later on. But LA Knight gets victory. That's fine. He's a heel. He should cheat, and he should take a win however. So then Grimes is interviewed. He says, Mackenzie, love's in the air. I mean, you take a look at, the expensive wedding that happened. Cora Jade and Trey Baxter are together. So love is in the air. It's time to take love to the moon. And I don't know who I pissed off to get more love angles here. And it's nothing against Grimes, but then Pete is just done with everything. He is with soon-to-be-called up Ridge Holland. And he's like, I'm sick of this love stuff. I'm sick of this or whatever. Why don't we just have a match? mean, Pete's not wrong. He's sticking around apparently for a little bit longer, another few years, and he's happy. Good. Pete Dunne's very good in the ring. And I don't know who the fuck those women were that he was talking to. I really don't know. I don't know who those blondes were. We didn't find out a little bit later. Nothing. I mean, I'm assuming they're recruits of some variety. I don't think they're the wives or girlfriends of any of the wrestlers. But who were they? Genuine question. If you know who they were, let me know in the comments. But again, he's going to take love to the moon. Man, I sound like frickin' Yakko from Animaniacs trying to impersonate Cameron Grimes. And then Von Wagner, heavy metal Von Wagner, is basically he's talking to O'Reilly. And O'Reilly says, thanks, but no thanks, because after the shit I've gone through the last year, I don't really trust anybody. And Von Wagner, basically his frickin' eyebrows have muscles. The guy is frickin' jacked. He's like, all right. Then Ciampa is still there in the ring, by the way, because Ciampa went to the ring, and then they did that pre-tape. And he's talking about how Halloween Havoc is going to be back on October 26th. Okay, bring back the giant pumpkin, or at least something. Give us something. Give us something that reminds us of Halloween Havoc. Not Halloween Havoc 1998, Hogan versus Warrior. My fucking goodness, what a disaster that was. But he needs an opponent. Here's Rex Steiner. That's his fucking name. None of this Braun Breaker bullshit. It's stupid. It's stupid, and creative is stupid and bad everything for coming up with it. They're bad, and they should feel bad. So anyway, Rex, God, he sounds so much like Rick and Scott. It is insane. He says, I've got the biggest balls in the locker room or whatever, and talking about this, like, we should face off, and then Ciampa's like, challenge accepted, and, well, all right, cool, short, sweet, and to the point. They're going to give Rex Steiner the title. They're going to give him the title. I mean, if they don't, they can push it along for a little bit, but they seem determined to rocket this fucker really quickly. So Joe Wayne Gacy is apparently, cutting the promo in the vast voidness of wherever. It's either purgatory or something. Maybe it's in the movie The Void. Hopefully not. That movie was a bit violent. But he's just talking about safe spaces and all this stuff, and weird. Talking about Unity. Not Assassin's Creed Unity. We don't have any faces that don't quite go together. Was that Assassin's Creed Unity? All those games blend together. So Indy to Persia. We went through 2 packs. My God, Indy. And I do want to say, though, Indy and Persia, I think that's how you say her goddamn or Persia. They're statuesque. They're talented. As far as like having a presence and everything, that's certainly a tag team to keep your eye on. Indy has some ability. Persia has a good look. So anyway, they walked into a room where the Grudge Ghost and Boa were getting high. Then they got high. Then they got high. And she's like, that was weird. And then we get Ikemen Jiro versus Joe Wayne Gacy. I'm just going to come up with weirder names. I do not get this Jiro gimmick at all. I know some people do. That's fine. I don't. This is stupid. This is fucking stupid. Both these gimmicks are stupid. And I get what they're doing with Gacy. I just don't like it. It doesn't offend me. I just think it's dumb. Wayne Gacy wins with a bounce-off lariat. Okay, that was fine. And then he hugs Jiro. And everything's fine. All right. So, I don't know who the bald guy was that was staring at Gacy, or at least I didn't at the time. That's apparently that Parker Bordeaux guy. Bordeaux, whatever. And he's got no hair now. So, all right. Duke Hudson is the poker player. It's Duke's poker room. Stop thinking about it, Noah. I know you're thinking about it. Stop it. Get some help. So, what in the 90s, early 2000s punk was Cora Jade's theme? I like Cora Jade. Like her as Elena Black. Think she has a bright future. She's young enough to where she's going to get better. She definitely, is figuring out who she is as far as like a presence on camera. And you know what? The skateboarding thing, she already skateboards better than the dynamic dudes. And if you get that reference, holy fuck. So, there was a girl named Virginia Ferry, a jobber that was going to face off against her. And then Frankie Monet says, no, haha, beat her up. I'm going to face you. And then she lost via roll-up in, I don't know, 3.5 minutes. And then they had a questionable picture. Check out the NXT, official WWE NXT, I think official WWE Twitter. Check out the picture they used where Cora Jade and Trey Baxter were celebrating. And my God, boy, it looked like they were doing something else. And I'm not here to judge. Maybe don't do that on camera, especially on a cable-wide broadcast. So, Ciampa's then talking backstage. After MSK and everybody involved in the Fatal 4-Way Tag match have a brawl, Ciampa's like, that's happening. Hey, hi, Mackenzie. Then Mackenzie's talking, and then Gacy interrupts and says, this is too much toxic behavior. I want you challenge anybody to a title match. So how about I face you next week, and then I'll get added to the match once I beat you. And then Ciampa saying this won't be a safe space for you. It's funny, given Ciampa's beliefs in this whole safe space thing, this was just hilarious seeing these two gimmicks come together. So we get beat down with Ridge Holland against Cameron Grimes. He wants to take love to the moon, but he was staring up at the spotlight. I don't really know how that works. He was staring up at the moon because it's an open air stadium, which would be weird. But O'Reilly jumps down or runs down and attacks Ridge, but then he gets tossed away and bitter end 1, 2, 3. That was really about it. And Tony D'Angelo is next. Oh boy, Swerve, not D'Lo, not PN News, and not Jade are here. Definitely not PN News is something I'm sticking with. And if you get that Rapmaster PN News thing, let's just say that guy at least knew when the fuck to get out of wrestling. And yeah, not PN. This group doesn't impress me besides Hit Row. To be fair, though, they're trying, but B-Fab has apparently been signed with the company for a couple of years. And the fact that she's not any better at this point, she was like a cow on ice in the ring, maybe wrestling isn't going to be for her. Just have her be a manager. Anyway, so during the break, Heavy Metal Von Wagner was helping Kyle O'Reilly. And then we had Malik Blade against Tony D'Angelo. I will say that, shout out to Skinny Mysterio, Taryn on Twitter. You called it. You had been hyping up and talking about Tony D'Angelo being really goddamn good. Other people were as well, but as far as people I've seen talking about, she, kind of led a bit of a force just as a fan, like saying, hey, you guys should watch this. And I'm not saying she's the sole reason, but there was a lot of hype behind this guy. And it's like, he kind of reminds me of a mixture of full-blood Italians mixed with Canyon. I don't know how this is going to work out. It meant a lot to him. The crowd was into it. And he beat Malik Blade. It wasn't bad. It's just, I don't know about this gimmick. I don't really know about it. He did hit a nice Northern Lights into a Fisherman's Twist 1, 2, 3. I think it was Perry Saturn's old finisher. That was pretty good. I mean, after the Death Valley Driver, because I think Saturn used that in the WWE. But it meant a lot to him. It looked like he was very overcome with emotion. Good. Hopefully it works out. I think the gimmick, I think it's a little too cartoonish, but whatever. I mean, hell, they did Big Vito and Johnny the Bull in WCW, and that stuff worked for about a minute. But hopefully this works out. I give them about 4 months before they decide to change this gimmick when they get tired of it, because Vince McMahon gets tired of his shiny new toys. So, Indy with Persia taking on, I'm sorry if I mispronounce her name. I am sorry. Against the Grudge Ghost, that's what she is. Because it's a stupid gimmick. All the time they invested in this, all it did was prove that Xia Li could pack muscle onto her body. I'm now just thinking about moving on. Boa was there at ringside. Why is this happening? What's the Grudge Ghost for is what I wrote down. This Persia woman got kicked down. Elbow drop by Indy. 1, 2, 3. Thanks for coming, Grudge Ghost, you idiotic gimmick. Who is Lash Legend talking to? Just a bunch of people, and then Tony D'Angelo shows up and wants to be a guest. I'm not saying Lash Legend doesn't have charisma. She does. I don't think that this particular presentation with a talk show is going to work. So we get a pre-tape with about Diamond Mine. The only one I think it really could be any good out of this gimmick will be, out of this group, Roderick Strong's pretty good. Maybe the Creed brothers, maybe the Japanese guy. I forgot the name that they gave him for this. Ivy Hale has a good look. She's a ton of muscle packed into, a small frame, but she obviously has a good look. And Bivens, I'm still not getting it with Bivens. I don't hate him. I just don't get it. So Raquel should have chosen a better outfit. She really should have. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not here to critique people's dress usually because I just wear shorts and t-shirts, but that wasn't a good look. She then is talking about she's going to take out Mandy, and then here's Toxic Attraction with the madness, and it is not sadness, nor the infinite sadness. The what chance? Mandy shuts him down. That was pretty good. It says, we're not just Toxic Attraction, we're the whole attraction. And then Starks and Zoe Stark, the oldest 27-year-old wrestler in known existence, and Io Shirai in shorts. This is not a drill. She showed up, and there we go. That was it. And then we have O'Reilly being checked on by Heavy Metal Von Wagner. They're getting a tag title, or they're getting a tag match next week. Not tag title, but tag match next week. Andy and Persia want the tag titles. Man, so many tag titles going around. And the champs get a TV entrance. Nobody does. Grizzled Hung veterans get a little bit of their entrance. But Brooks and Jensen, I'm just going to call people that, and Carmelo and Tricky Ticky Williams did not get TV entrances. Good job there. I think we knew which teams weren't going to win. So, Fatal 4-Way Elimination Tag Team title match, and Well, it started fast at first and then got a little bit sloppy, and yeah, this was kind of ridiculous. I never thought I would see Caucasian lumberjacks take down African American men in Orlando again. Always delete your search history. Tricky Ticky Williams got pinned, and that was done. Down to 3, Grizzled Hung Veterans got eliminated, which surprised me. I would have thought they would have won this thing. The crowd kind of died a little bit, and then MSK won with a roll-up. And then Imperium attacked to implement the final phase of their plan to regain the tag team championships. Brooks and Jensen looked like they were about to do the attack, but they didn't. It went to black. Maybe they will show on their NXT Twitter that they attacked them. Anyway, that's pretty much it for NXT. I didn't hate it. It's just I'm starting to kind of wonder what the fuck's going on. They're throwing a bunch of shit at the wall to see what sticks. And that kaleidoscopic set is just puke. It's not good. Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.